So we got the stream going. I'm going to go ahead and throw the share button on. I also have to make sure that the visibility is to everyone and not just my friends. Because my friends list is only a whopping 100 and something people.
I was going to say I got a notification, but it doesn't matter because I'm one of your friends.
Right. That could have some...
Oh, you're totally audible on stream, by the way.
I know.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Summon the right cards. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas after that, I guess it was Gravekeepers, and it was, Royal Tribute.
Yep. So I realized some of what we were just talking about was cut off because I did turn my mic off.
Classic.
And I realized halfway through, and I was like, oh, I'm the worst at social media and at streaming now.
You're not bad. I'm telling you. I know some people who aren't at where you're at, and that's okay. Like, this is free real estate right now. Something that I always tell people that I work with, because I try to build up my community around me, is like, everybody's path is going to be different.
Right.
And what you know and what you excel at isn't going to be the same as what I know and I excel at.
Sure.
And that's why we come together as a community and work together. Like, I maybe have the industry connections that you don't have, but do I have graphic design skills? No. I can open up GIMP and make something if I have to.
Sure. If you ever need help, though, let me know, because I always like just helping out. I'm bored half the time. Because, I have nothing to do.
I struggle with asking. So like as a small business owner, I struggle with like, hey, can you whip up this graphic for me real quick? Because I can't afford to pay for it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I would never be
honestly,
like, hey, do this for free for me, because it's not me.
yeah, no, I get that. Just know that you can, because like I have nothing to do, and half the time I'll do it just to try something new and learn something new and push my own boundaries, and then from there I can just turn around and be like, cool, now I can make my own version of this.
I get that. Yeah,
You know what I
fair.
mean? Like when I did Dan's life point counter, he was like, "Oh no, don't rush it, don't rush it. You don't have to do it now." And I was like, "But if I do yours, it'll give me inspiration to do mine."
That's
And
true.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I can step off from there, and sure, mine's a little more,
It's got the razzle dazzle.
oh yeah, but his, he wanted it to have kind of like an ice theme, so we went the icicle, frosty, cubey direction with it.
That's
But
pretty tight.
yeah, so for 30 seconds, I'm gonna throw up my sticker advertisement,
Love it.
and then we'll get this show on the road.
No.
Hi all, Evan here from Epic Duel Time. Epic Duel Time's return is one of the most exciting happenings of the new decade, and we'd love for you to share in the fun with us. Now on Etsy and eBay, we have an official Epic Duel Time sticker available for only $3. This decal is a high-quality vinyl that's weather and waterproof. Put it on your deck box, trade binder, or water bottle, and you're part of the EDT crew now too. Click the link in the description to purchase today. Keep dueling, America. I dig it. I really do. No, and that's not even like sarcasm, because sometimes you can't tell the difference between my sarcasm and my non-sarcasm. But
That's just 2020. It's not just you. I have the same problem where like I speak with the one tone,
right.
so my joking voice is the same as my serious voice. And people
It's
are
like,
always like,
yeah, no, that's
and I'm
great.
like, no, jokingly.
But no, for real though, it's solid. Because I remember we used to like crack jokes about it, and now we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Classic.
I like it.
Man.
No, I mean not about your current style, about like the way the red curls back in the day.
Yes. Fucking ugh.
And by we crack jokes, I mean you and I, not like me and random others. Could you imagine if we had a community, a Facebook group about your hair?
There should have been. I'm like the Uncle Tom of gingers. It's awful. Are we live right now? Am I allowed to say I'm the Uncle Tom of gingers?
We are. Apparently we were a little quiet though, so I'm cranking up the volume.
But yeah, I don't.
Oops, no, don't block him. Thank him. Oh crap. No, I can only read. I can read only on Facebook. But I was trying to write a thank you message back, and it didn't happen.
Hate to see it.
Thank you. All right, so.
Can I teach you a thing real quick?
Yeah.
All right, so in.
Oh right.
Hold on, let me mute this tab. So let me teach you a thing about OBS real quick that you might actually know already. But so if you right click on my face cam and go to filters, you can add a crop so that you can cut out around that window. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Hold on. Where is filters? Oh, I see.
So even if you just cut off that purple bar and then the like left side there.
Oh no, I'm stretching it. Sorry. So I right-clicked it, but it's not saying. Oh, filters. Sorry, I'm just. Yeah. And then which one?
Crop.
I see it.
There should be like a text input where you can put in the number and then like up and downs so that you can like do it 1 pixel at a time.
Yeah.
Some of that real 2020 shit.
How much should I crop, or do you just figure it out?
Kind of just yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that worked. This is fun. I mean, obviously.
OBS is really good. Like for a free program, you get a lot. Oh, look, my logo's in there. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very nice of you.
Of course.
So
I nailed it. I got it.
you're a killer.
I love
I
this.
told you, man. See, it looks awesome.
Thank you very much. That was a good tip.
And
This
you
is
can
fun.
do that, I think, with any source or overlay or anything like that.
Very cool. Yeah, no, that's like
So-
something that's like a necessity. Because a lot of times I was just like, for Facebook calls, I was just tucking it under.
Mhm.
I was just
That
like,
works. That works too. That's the beauty is like you're a graphic designer, so you kind of the shortcuts you can take.
yeah, just the little, the cheats, really.
Cheat codes.
Oh, cheat codes. All right. Do you want to jump into card discussion, or are we shit talking Zodiac? I'm
We
kidding.
can start shit talking Zodiac.
All right. I mean,
I love him. Are we talking about him or? Because I love him.
oh no, I would never shit talk him. You love him.
I love him. I love his pink hair. Anyway, let's just talk about cards. Let's
It's weird now.
What else? Yeah, it's weird now. Anyway, have you read all these cards? Do you know like a general idea, or are you cool? All right. The first card you have up here is Traptrix Alamirus.
Alamiris?
I don't think she's very good.
Okay.
I'm a Traptrix player right now as we speak, and I don't even think she's playable right now in the state that the deck's in. We can talk about that more later.
Sure.
There's so much or there's a significant lack of deck space in the deck right now, or extra deck space. So when you're having to run your OTK engine in Utopia Double, you need the Sarahs, and you're not even able to run multiples of some things where you would want to not lose them to a litho. Like dinos are really big right now.
Right.
And litho can mean game for your opponent if they hit certain one-ofs. So there's just not room for her. And even then, I don't think her effect is strong enough to validate running her. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen any reason to run her yet.
I see you. What does her effect do for those who can't read that tiny font?
I have her open in another tab here.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you did.
Oh yeah, I got tabs for days right now. I do want a Starlight. It's not worth 200 to me, but being a Traptrix player, like I think she's cool.
I would love a Starlight, but even the crappy Starlights are 150.
I think the salad one was like 70 or 75, but then people realized it was too low, and now it's more money again.
Yeah, just like collectors, I guess, just really, really like them. And that's cool, though, because like it's good to see collecting back in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because when I left, that was not such a thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. Even to the point where, like, we were talking about you making tokens, and something interesting that's happening is people actually want official tokens way more than, like, just using their own now.
Right.
I thought that's kind of interesting. Like, the Nibiru token is actually something that people seek out. I think it's like a couple bucks. But Alamirus.
I think I have one actually. I think I didn't know it was an official one. But I think I have one.
Yeah, I think it's an OTS super. But Alamirus is 2+ level 4 monsters, and she's unaffected by trap effects while she has Xyz material, just like Rafflesia, who is way better. And then hard once per turn on both effects, you can detach 2 materials, special summon a level 4 insect or plant monster from the graveyard. You have to have set that up. It's not that good. And even then, are you trying to grab Dionea to recycle a floodgate? Like it's maybe Myrmilio to hit back row. I don't really see it. And then if your opponent's monster leaves the field because of your card effect and is now in the graveyard or banished, except during the damage step, you can detach a material from this card, then target one of them, special summon it to your field. I brought up Floodgate Trap Hole. The other big trap holes you're going to see right now are probably the new one, Gravedigger's Trap Hole, which we'll talk about later, and I've been using Chain Hole, but now that Gravedigger's Trap Hole is seeing play, I doubt Chain Hole will see play. Regardless of that, none of those make cards leave the field.
Right.
So that effect's kind of worthless. At least in Trap Tricks right now. I don't know. I don't see it. You play oh no, does it say No, okay, it doesn't say that it has to be by a trap, but that's probably how they're expecting it to happen. They want you to use like Bottomless and banish a card and then you get it back.
Right.
I'm just not seeing it. You're more likely to play Compulse.
True.
Yeah.
Switch to the next.
Yeah.
All right. Trap Tricks for Felicia.
Okay, this card. This card's big, and there are not that many listings. Let me find. There's 27 listings of the Bosch one right now, and there's 52 listings of the Mega Pack one on TCG. If you want one for cheap, I think right now is the time to grab it. We're seeing a lot of rank 4 spam with Parallel Exceed coming out. Gigantes is like a couple bucks now. That's going to be seeing a lot of play.
Gigantes?
Yeah. They just reprinted it in OTS, and it's like a couple bucks somehow.
That guy. He used to have like 100 of those back in the day.
Right? So, Rafflesia lets you activate your Gravedigger's Trap Hole as her effect. So, being able to protect your plays with that is really strong. And that'll come up into some of the cards we talk about later. But, yeah, there's less than 100 listings total between the two. Yeah, he's played in the Rock deck. He's a staple. He's super good right now. But yeah, I think Rafflesia definitely going to see more play after Gravediggers comes out. So I would keep an eye on this card while we're talking about the bad new Xyz monster. She's the good one.
Oh, yeah. Next up, the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine.
Yes. Okay, so again, we're talking about Trap Tricks here, which I think got some of the most support out of Eternity Code. The reason you want this card is because it triggers Sarah's effect on your first turn. If you have 4-Mud Skipper, it enables you to get into plays with Utopia Double right away, so you can OTK them. It lets you set up plays with Redoer. If you don't have the opportunity, like if they have too much back row, or if they have too many cards in hand and you don't have a way to stop the Ash, then you can go into Time Thief Redoer with this, and it gets his removal and his banish effect.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a really strong card, and they're like $7 right now with like no listings. They'll be up to like 15 if they get bought out of the foil copy. The common's still like $3. Let me see real quick. I just want to look if there's a whole lot of the commons, but even the commons are like $3. This is a card to keep an eye on too.
Because even the common, it's not like it came from a booster set that everybody could get a ton of packs from. It comes from decks, and they're $30.
I will say there is a guy on TCG with almost 300 copies of it, so it probably won't hit over $3. But I mean, that's the common. We're talking. I was looking at.
People are gonna want that premium gold.
Yeah. So there's actually there's 7 listings now. You got $6, and then your next one's actually up to almost 10.
Sure.
And I really think Trap Tricks are going to see a lot of hype with Gravedigger's Trap Hole coming out. So.
Yeah, it definitely seems like this card is really, really scarce on, especially at 26 listings for that common. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see people buying up the structured the deck set just to get this thing.
No. I'd have to think hard. I'm sure like there's a lot of hero cards in there, but other than that, is this like the best card in that set? I imagine. I'll look into that real quick. Let's see what's of value in legendary hero decks, because I don't think there's very much anymore.
I bought one and it really had nothing.
I went market high to low on legendary hero decks, and the most valuable card is Shade Brigandine, and then Twin Twisters at like $2.
Sure.
And then Mally. Dante's like $80. Sub $1.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I want to point out, Tim in your Facebook chat said that it's one of the worst rarities, and I agree, but they need to print a better foil shade brigandine, or I'm just going to keep using the yucky gold rare.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
for sure. I mean, I don't even hate them because they're like quasi secret golds.
yeah,
I don't hate
it's
them.
better than the old, like the OG dad gold rare was
Right.
just like
Yeah,
awful.
they're weird in the way they utilized gold foiling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they always added such like a heavy saturation on the gold hue instead of using it to accentuate things. They used it to drown out the card's art in gold, like sepia.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. It's not nice. I used to say they look like someone rubbed dirt into them,
A little
which
bit, yeah.
sepia is a better way to put it. You know, my 20-year-old brain was like, why do these look dirty,
Yeah.
grungy?
So much grunge. Are we down for the next card?
Yeah, absolutely.
Platinum is by far worse than Gold series in general.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're bad.
Well, because they're like speckly.
They're.
In
I would say
the
the
text.
same about them, that they look dirty. Like
Yeah.
they look like someone left them out. Yeah.
Next we have Chamber Dragon Maid, not to be confused with the Dragon's Chambermaid. Heyo.
Got her. So, let me read this card, and then. So, if it's normal or special summoned, you're going to add a Dragon Maid spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And then, which obviously Stratos effects are kind of standard now, but it's strong. You can return this card to your hand at the start of the battle phase, and if you do, special summon a level 7 or higher Dragon Maid monster from your hand or graveyard. That one requires a little bit more setup. I will go on the record and say I don't think they're that good on the whole. That being said, I'm also getting that they're going to see some play in the regular Dragon Link deck, so maybe that's validating this $45 to $46 price point. I don't know. We'll see. It's a pre-sale price. I'd probably see her settling around 30, 35.
Shout out to Alan for the sample card art. As always,
yeah.
Appreciate not having to put translations with.
That guy's like
he's on top of
worker.
it.
They're always instant. Yeah.
I hate to, I hate to use somebody's art without permission, but at the same time, shout out to because it's really good.
I mean, he makes them for the community, and everyone uses them in their videos. So
yeah, no, they
I'm
help.
sure he doesn't mind.
They do help a ton. Next one is Titanocider.
Okay, I want do you know what Lost Wind does? I know you're kind of getting back into the game.
Is Lost Wind... No.
It's a negate a monster's effect and have their attack.
No.
Okay, so to put it bluntly, I think Titanocider is worse Lost Wind, but I think there's something to be said that if you are already running 3 Lost Wind and you had room for 3 more Lost Wind, this might be a really strong card. But yeah, if you're just measuring it like objectively, I think it's just a worse Lost Wind.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. I mean, they both have recycle effects. Yeah, not a lot to talk about here. Everybody knows Lost Wind's pretty good. This one's almost pretty good.
Right. Next we have Plunder Patrol Ship Lists.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about Plunder Patrol.
They are quite they're bootyful.
I think they're cute, but does cute win games?
Right.
I think that kaijus are going to be seeing a lot more play.
Yep.
And I think this deck hard loses to kaijus for sure. In addition to that, I mean, I haven't personally seen any boards that are made up like your turn one board could be like this and maybe one negate or maybe one back row, but the combo that you're going to need to do to get into this plus that, this is definitely their best card, at least right here. That being said, I just don't see it being like competitively viable, unless your opponent just doesn't play negates or outs at all. Like you literally just have to let them play and not respond the whole time, and then you have a board with like 2 negates.
So you know what they're reminding me of so far in their release? Noble Knights. In that they're TCG exclusive. They're kind of slow. They've been released over time. Every time a new set comes out with some new support, the old ones get really expensive a little bit. And then you see it kind of, everybody goes to play it and they're like, oh wait, this didn't quite get the support we needed. Like they rev up and they're like
Oh, you totally broke up. I'm sorry, but I am very sure that your joke was funny.
Oh no, I just said it wasn't that funny.
Okay. Yeah, I had almost 2 full cores of the deck because knowing support was coming out, there was no way they stayed so cheap. Right. And now I think I have, this is the only red beard I have left. It's all gone. I couldn't hold on to it for what it was worth. I would say they still have opportunity to make 2 more extra deck attribute boats. And if you want to play it, maybe grab it now. I don't think it's being reprinted this year. This might be the lowest it gets for a long time. While you're at it, I would grab Salvages and Wandering King Wildwinds. I think those are really strong in there.
Yeah. There's a foil salvage too.
Yeah. Do you remember how many cases of Legendary Collection Yugi's World I bought? Yes. And all of those cards are like $7 to $12 now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money I would have made if I just didn't get rid of any of that stuff?
So much good stuff in those sets.
It's
Joey's
disgusting.
World is still worth a lot.
Yeah, that's everyone I've been talking to about Avarice is picking up the Joey's World Avarice because it's like the pretty one that isn't $40 to $70.
That's why I just picked up a set for $28.
That's not bad at all.
No.
That's really good.
So I was pretty pleased. But yeah, no, as soon as I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. Like, these are actually going up, and the deciding factor for me was they were appropriate on eBay, but they were really, really, really high on TCG. And I was just like, generally when that gap exists, that gap closes itself. So when you see that gap, pounce. Like, especially when you have cards that are like Avarice, where they're at 3, they're really inherently good cards. They're just a little pokey right now. But we get pokey formats every now and then. For me, they're speeding the hell out of my hero deck because it's fixing that need for, like, I don't need 3 Ferris because now I can have 2. Like, I'll just recycle the first one and put everything back in the main, and now I'm drawing 2 cards and I'm keeping up with some of the other decks. You know, is it dead every now and then? Yeah, but you know, Avarice it's never dead for long. You know, it's just
I mean, even we just saw Zootop, the LCS, and that's something I've been keeping my eye on. I think that deck might be really strong.
Sure. And
it's literally, you just Xyz over Xyz over Xyz over Xyz. There's no way you're not getting 5 monsters in the grave.
Right.
It's happening. So,
I
think it was really strong to see it go to 3.
It's cool. It's a very cool card, and I think a lot of people really, because the ultimate's really ugly.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those ultis that just doesn't look good. I agree with you.
You know, it's funny because OCG gets really, really pretty ultis, where the art pops out and it's heavily embossed behind it, but the art itself is nearly not foil. You know what I mean? It's really quite unfoiled.
Right.
So if I recall, their ultis of everything, like they have an ulti miracle fusion that looks pretty cool, and like there's a few things that I'm just like, I'd like.
I have their collector's rare gamma seal, and it's less shiny than it is embossed, and I think you're exactly right. It's about texture, not like making it foily. It's a lot nicer.
Yeah, definitely. For our next card on our market watch list is Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Your favorite.
Okay, I have opinions about this card.
You have opinions.
First of all, so for anybody who doesn't really know what Trap Tricks do right now, it's about Utopia Double. Like, the deck's win condition, my build's a little different, it has a couple other win conditions, but your main win condition is going to be Utopia Double. He's really easy to pull off in the deck, and having this card to prevent Ash from stopping him, or even, Ghost Ogre can stop him, kind of. Like, it's going to remove him, but that doesn't feel as bad, I guess, as the Ash. Well, my build runs mine, so I don't really care if you destroy it. That's totally fine. Gravedigger's Trap Hole is going to let you get that play off a lot more often. That's what you want.
Right.
Especially in Master Rule 5, where I can have that Rafflesia next to him and make sure that I always have access to this card, and it's searchable by Sarah. This card's crazy. But then, like I was saying before about rank 4 spam definitely being a possibility, this card's going to see play in decks that want that free Ash negate or that free Ogre negate, the free DD Crow negate that can make rank 4s. Because it's just going to stop it, and it's going to hit them for 2k. And that's with Utopia Double. Now I just have to swing over a 4k monster. Like, sold. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That card is friggin'... That's why I like my only... That's why I like Dynatag so much. Because my only out to that is just like, pay 1,000? Like... And not to well, if you run this card, I run this card, but that's why you run Mystic Mind. Right.
At the end of the day. Like, it's so crazy.
Right. And it's like... if you activate a monster effect in here, and Gravedigger's Trap Hole would actually stop Dynatag's effect.
Yeah.
Because Dynatag would have us both pay 1,000. Instead, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think this might be... I don't want to say the most underrated card in the set, because we're going to talk about the most underrated card in the set soon. But this might be the second most underrated card in the set.
It's really cool. And, like, that 2k is a slap in the face. It so is. Because, like...
It's really big, yeah.
Because so often we pay 2,000 life points for things, we never get to smack our opponent down for 2k. That's fun. It's just random, and it's like, it reminds me of, like, Debunk and burning, and yet also having something for the hand. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's really good. I really like this card. It's searchable, obviously. So what's not to like?
It's crazy. it's even, there's decks that are going to be running one of the other cards that can go into Trap Trick Sarah and make this searchable in, like, any deck.
It's really neat. It really is.
It's insane.
All right, so on to our next card.
Yeah.
We are with Access Code Talker.
Okay. I would say this is one of the cards that flew under my radar. So I'm reading this card for the second time, and some of you may already know what this card does, but it's 2+ effect monsters. It's a Link 4. So your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's effect activations. If it's Link Summon, you can target a Link monster that was used as material for its Link Summon. It gains attack equal to that monster's Link rating times 1,000. That's pretty good.
Wow.
One Link monster from your field or graveyard. Oh, you can banish one Link monster from your field or graveyard, destroy one card your opponent controls. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot banish monsters with the same attribute to activate this effect. So, for one, decks that run multiple attributes are going to like this more. But the biggest thing for me is your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's effect activations. That's crazy. That's big. I'm really surprised that this went under my radar because this is kind of nuts.
It's cool. So he's part of an archetype, right? The Talkers?
Yes. Code Talkers, yes.
Code Talkers, alright.
There's like Decode Talker, Power Code Talker, Transcode Talker.
And that's the protagonist's beast monster?
I don't wanna say for sure. I'm aware he has Decode Talker. That's the extent of my anime knowledge.
Okay, I just assumed all the talkers. I assumed all the talkers were talking for one boy. I shouldn't assume that.
That sounds correct. That sounds accurate. I was noticing the promo from the Switch game is like $20, the one that lets you search sign-up mining.
Yeah.
I might be picking up some of those because...
Okay, so when I picked up that game, right, I was obviously still very much in retirement. Because I picked it up right when it came out. The pack alone, sealed, was worth like $30 at the time. And I picked up the game for like $35 on Amazon. So I literally paid $5 for YuGiOh Duel Links. And I sold the pack on eBay. And I was like, okay, I'm good with this. I'm not going to play this card game again. And I don't regret it. I don't need it, but... It was just, it's funny though, because you're right though, the promos of that set are really, and if you think about it though, if you have to run 3 of something, you need 3 people's promos that don't want to play with that card. Imagine that, that's so many promos for a Switch game.
Because I was actually looking at clearance copies of the game earlier today, and like some store in Europe has them for like $25, but I haven't checked the shipping yet, so I don't know if it's worth it.
Right.
But I mean, worst case, I grab 3 extra copies of the game and try to sell those because I want the silly card.
It's so... Oh, did you see what Tyler said?
No.
Oh, Tyler Garcia.
Oh, hi Tyler. What's going on?
Hi Tyler. No, it's funny though that the promos go for so much. So let's talk about one quick promo that will always keep going up. Anything related to Dark Duel stories.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's for their Blue Eyes decks. Everybody's looking for a Dark Duel stories one. It's like, get in line, dude. Everyone was looking back in my day.
Did you buy the right copy of Dark Duel Stories back in the day?
Salamandra, man. Salamandra.
Yeah, me too, man. CRU.
Salamandra.
Cuts deep. I remember reading in like Pojo magazine that you got like Exodia and Dark Magician and Blue Eyes. I was like, oh, I need to buy this game. And then I opened it when I got home and I was, what is this?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I definitely remember being a little confused. My first game though was Forbidden Memories.
Yes.
And I just remember being like, this isn't real Yu-Gi-Oh! What the fuck? Like, you guys are cheating.
I think the card's name was Stone Dragon. It was a fusion, and that was my go-to. That's my memory of Forbidden Memories.
So fun fact, before we continue, if you cheat and use and get cards put into your deck at the beginning, and you don't lose to Reshif, the bad guy, who like beats your village and causes you to go back in time, basically. If you beat him when you're not supposed to, they just make you play him again until he beats you. And if you continue to beat him, and you're just gonna loop. So I literally had my deck so souped out with Blue Eyes Ultimates and Blue Eyes and everything that literally every card I played meant that I couldn't lose.
Wowie.
And I was like, oh, I have to reset the game and then add the cheats after I beat him. Or after he beats me. Like,
that's classic. Was there like a Game Shark for PS1 that I didn't know about?
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, no, totally. Absolutely, there's a Game Shark. For every console's ever had a Game Shark. I don't know if the current ones do, but...
No, it's hard because save data's stored on, like...
Right.
encrypted SD memory. Like you can jailbreak and do it, but I don't know. I'm not trying to ruin a $300 Switch over some free fruit in Animal Crossing.
Or bells.
Yeah.
Some
It's
bells.
not that worth it to me.
Get those free bells. No, I was. It was just like, I remember, that you could basically type in anything, and it also let you get around the fact that in video games you can only ever type in the code on the bottom of a card once, and it'll let you get around that. You could do it like multiple times and shit. And I just remember being like, yes, I'm unstoppable. All right.
I remember just Googling for the codes and being like, "Ha, got you, Konami. I don't even own this card."
I thought I was so smart because I had like just good cards.
Yeah.
I just thought I was so smart. I'm like, well, I own these cards, and like now they finally made a game that lets me type them in. So,
It's Galaxy Brain.
Really was. All right. So speaking of we can transcend the galaxy and go to the spiritual world for our next card. Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill.
Oh man. So
it was the worst transition ever.
Yeah. That was great. I'm a fan. I would subscribe for that.
Hey, like, comment, subscribe.
There it is. So if your opponent special summons a monster face up, except during the damage step, you can discard it, then target one of those monsters, negate its effects until the end of this turn, and if it leaves the field, you take damage equal to its original attack. I think this is a high skill hand trap, and I welcome this card into the game with open arms. I think this card's really strong.
Yeah.
It's really good against the big board combo decks. Yeah, there's nothing really more to say about it. This card's really good.
This would hurt a lot for like on my Ferris or something. You know what I mean? Just I'd be like,
yeah.
Ooh, I don't get anything.
Well, isn't there a play where one of your fusions goes into your Link 2, or your Link 2 goes into your Link 3 also?
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely ways to use this card to discourage you from continuing, or you're going to take a big chunk of damage.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Because, like, the thing is, if you do this on Ferris, right, and you negate his effect, I don't get increase, and Ferris is just going to sit there for a while and be useless, like the useless fuck he is. Because he's not the combo maker. Vion is. So, use it on him, I'm ruined. You don't use it on increase, obviously, because then, you know, I can link, and we've gone too far. But if you do use it on Extra Hero Cross Crusader, you'll negate his effect to bring back Destiny Hero Malicious. I won't be able to combo, because the first time it negate its effects. Okay, so if you only negate him one time, next turn I could just like bring Mally back, but this is saying negate its effects. Like, he's not gonna last longer. So my instinct is gonna be to link over it, and then that'll discourage, and its controller takes damage. So then I'm gonna burn myself for 16 for no reason. So I won't go into that Dread Decimator. So for other decks, I don't know how, you know, you could use that a lot on Salad. When they go Almirage, I believe.
So Salad won't go Almirage, they'll go Balinx.
Balinx, sorry, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Searches this card. Would you believe I'm building Salad? I have Sign Up Minings and Balinxes in my hand.
Yeah, I was just thinking, that's who I was thinking of, actually. I
think that's actually, you're right, to hit the Balinx might be really clutch there.
See, I'm trying to get some of my former insight back into this confusing game. Because, you know, This game, it's so funny though, because then we have so many new hand traps. They've taken on new faces. Valor isn't Valor. MST isn't MST. DD Crow is still his good old friggin' birdie self.
You'll never beat DD Crow. He'll never be replaced.
I was about to be like, DD Crow is replaced with Called from the Grave, and I was like, nope, I run both. What am I talking about? I was like, nope. I run both.
We have Dimension Shifter too, and I don't think Dimension Shifter is on the same level as him either.
You know, it's funny because when I read that card first, I would have been like, if I could take a playset of that card and go back in time to your whole removal chaos days and give you that card and be like, take this, child, a gift from the future, you would have lost your friggin' marbles.
Oh, yeah.
You would have been like, this works, now combo. You would have been like, alchemist this, better bing that.
It would have been the ultimate. Yeah, that's the deck to have it in, right? Like,
because I had some removal bullshit get used against me the other day, and it was like D-Fissure. I was like, I know where this is going.
Classic.
I like it though. I love how Yu-Gi-Oh's progressed. That's what drew me back. Like, it's not even that I came back because I want to relive what I used to live. I literally want it because the new era of Yu-Gi-Oh is so attractive. Like, it really is so different. I was like, shit, it's fresh. Good. No more pendulum addiction.
Yeah.
I get that we can still have pendulum, but like we were addicted to it, and I just can't. I'm glad that we're back to combo decks and playing fun.
Yeah, you played into pendulum format where I skipped that whole era of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I will definitely say the current Thunder, the current iteration of Yu-Gi-Oh is way better than what I felt Pendulums was. This hand trap's badass, and you might have talked me into buying a playset while they're still 40s, because I'm looking right now at prices, and there's a bunch of listings for 40s, and then Limitless Gaming is like, we'll throw them up for 75 because we've seen where hand traps like these go.
Yeah, I
might
really.
be a buyer.
It's neat. Like, I don't know what else to say about it, but it definitely has its place in the very relevant metagame that I think from my very limited interaction with said metagame.
Yeah.
Because it gets
does this push Valor out of the format, do you think?
So you can discard it and negate. You know what else you can use this on? Golden Lord. Because doesn't his effect to summon himself,
is that right,
increase his attack points to be 35? Could you then do this to him and then burn them for 25 when he goes to the grave to discourage them from doing their trap shenanigans?
Yeah, you could do that. That might be pretty worth. Damn.
Because I'm thinking about the two decks that are looking to push me in next. And it's going to be Eldritch and it's going to be Adamancipators. And I know nothing about the Adamancipators. I need to watch some videos. But from what I've seen with Eldritch,
this card's going to be good against them too, for sure.
He's just constantly coming back, and anything even if you're main decking this for any reason, just to stun him really quick, interrupt their turn, and then discourage them from playing a trap that tributes him. Because if I recall, there's a couple traps that say, send an Eldritch monster you control to the graveyard. And then he has a thing where you can just send a trap or spell from the field to the graveyard. And bring him back. And my thing is, how many times are they going to want to do that shenanigan when they're going to get burned for 25? One time, potentially lose their monster, get attacked. How many more times are they going to continue to do this?
Yeah.
If you draw into the second, that's 5k. Because obviously it's not going to be a she's not going to burn them at 35. That'd be nice, though. But negating them and burning them at their original attacks, pretty damn good. I like this card. I do. Hopefully we haven't overhyped it and we're not crazy, but I don't think we're crazy.
I don't think so. I was going to remark about, I feel like every new hand trap kind of pushes Droll to the point where unless Droll is the perfect card for the format, you never see Droll.
Right.
And I feel like this hand trap might put Valor into that position too.
Sure.
Because unless it gets to the point, similar to how we were talking about Titanocider, is like a slightly worse Lost Wind, Valor might become that to this card.
Because Valor really only does work on face-up monsters anyways. You can't
only in the main phase. That's the biggest thing for me.
Right. Where this is, if your opponent special summons a monster during any phase.
Mm-hmm.
Except during the damage step, which obviously we're not doing that much summoning there unless you're hat.
Yeah.
So I don't see too many negatives. I see a lot of positives, and I see a really big burn for anybody who's looking to keep trying to summon their way out of a negation. So I think it's really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Are we ready for our next card?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let me just open this back up, and we have Animadorned. Oh my god.
Animadorned Archosaur. And this card,
enemy.
Yeah, this is, I don't know who named it.
They had fun.
That being said, this card's crazy, first of all. Dinos, I don't know that they needed this card, but it's really strong. If you don't know what it does, if it's normal or special summon, you can destroy a dinosaur monster in your hand or face up on the field, except Animadorned Archosaur. Then add a reptile, sea serpent, or winged beast with the same original level as that destroyed monster, or one evolution pill spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Animadorned Archosaur once per turn.
Hold on, so the best part is, or an evolution pill.
Or an evolution pill. Yeah, totally not necessary. But
belongs nowhere in that text. Oh, by the way, if you need pills, baby.
Sometimes you do. It's this triggers the dinos and searches pill. Like,
oh,
it's
cool.
pretty crazy.
And I love that it's level 1. And if this card is normal or special summoned, which means you can now just run 1-for-1 for no reason.
There's no limitations to this card in any way other than you can't destroy another copy.
Right, like
that would be a little too much.
It's not, and it's not like at any point it's like, and then you can only special summon dinosaur monsters for the rest of your turn, like every hero does, you know what I mean? Like every, I recall most of the salad monsters, they require you to only summon Cybers monsters for the rest of your turn, right?
There's a few of them that say cards in the deck that lock you into like just Cybers.
Right.
And there's can we talk about like there are so many decks that have requirements like that now?
Right.
I also want to talk about there's like a weird dichotomy here of like this is an expensive dinosaur card. Like you're looking at over 210 on a playset right now. And I feel like the only dinosaur players I know are people who don't spend money.
That's wicked true.
I like dinosaurs, but
there's gonna be that one rich dinosaur player who's just gonna be like, yeah.
Right, yeah. It's similar to, we were talking about that microcoder card from Link Evolution earlier.
Yep.
And I think this card's going to give the dinosaur players with money the advantage against the dinosaur players without money, in the same way that I want to pick up microcoders because I think we're going to see a lot of salad, and I think the microcoder salad build beats the non-microcoder salad build.
For sure. Love it. Are we good for our next card?
Yeah.
Introducing another Cyberse monster, Linkross.
Okay. This card's nuts.
Yeah.
This card, it's like 2020's Phantom Skyblaster if Phantom Skyblaster was like double the good. Like this card's nuts. Token generation right now, to me, is like the best thing a card can do. Other than just like make Utopia double for game.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot like Phantom Skyblaster. It's funny you mention that.
Mm-hmm. Remember Phantom Skyblaster? We were talking about plant format earlier.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I was the guy
plants?
that had a play set of tour guides and ran Phantom Skyblaster build instead.
Yep.
Phantom Skyblaster was crazy back in the day.
Because there were so many ways you could utilize the 1-star and the 1-star tuner with the 4-star monster with 4-star tokens, and at the time Phantom Skyblaster was written, we didn't have tokens telling you couldn't synchro or tribute summon or do something with them. Like, so you've got all of these Skyblaster tokens, and they're meant to bring out a big monster. Like, they're meant for this one friggin' purpose of bringing something impressive out. And then, wasn't Phantom Skyblaster like a duelist pack card, too?
It was... Oh, what's the secret from? I remember running secrets, and I think you're right. You're right. It was printed as an ultra, and then it was reprinted as the secret.
Yep.
You're right. I think it was duelist pack.
Jesse?
It wasn't Jaden one.
Wasn't it?
You're right. It was Jesse.
Jesse Anderson's, because for some reason someone involved in his season used it, but I don't believe it was him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Phantom Skyblaster came up, and I remember that this is very similar in that it brings out a lot of similar monsters that are alike to its host monster.
Yeah.
So now here's my ignorance. Can tokens be... You cannot use link tokens as link materials, okay. But can regular tokens be used as a link material?
Yes, it depends on the card.
Okay.
So... what's a really good example?
Dandelion.
You can use... Hornet Drones gets you a token that you can use to make Sky Striker monsters.
Oh, cool.
Let me I can't even think of a card off the top of my head right now, but link monsters that can't be summoned with tokens will say accept tokens.
Oh, okay. So...
I don't want to be ignorant here. I want to search the card name before I say it.
Because I just learned, like, the other day that the amount of arrows is their link rating. Like, I didn't get
that. That is the case.
I was so stupid until the other day. I was like, Cross Crusader has 2 arrows. He's a rank 2.
I was talking to you about Taoe Dragon?
Sure.
And I didn't realize he was a Link 3, and I think he's worse than I thought he was when I originally to you, because I only saw 2 arrows. But I might have been illiterate, and he actually has 3 arrows. Taoe Dragon. Those are words. Yeah, he's a 2+ monsters, but he's Link 3, so he might be a little harder to get him on, but
sure.
He's cute.
Yeah, he's nifty.
But yeah,
what are Linkross's tokens going to be good for though? This format. Well, I mean, now that the board's open, synchro summoning.
There's a lot of Link spam decks that are going to utilize this to its highest degree.
Okay.
And then I think, we're talking about, these microcoder interactions. We're going to be talking about Formud Skipper interactions. There's going to be a lot of opportunity to spam out a lot more cards now.
Sure.
I don't want to say the sky's the limit. I'm sure somebody's out there testing it more than me, and they know kind of where the extent of it can go. But it feels right now like the sky's the limit.
Very cool. All right, our next card, speaking of, is Formud Skipper.
Okay. I'm a fan of Formud Skipper.
Tell me.
Let me refresh the page right now because I've been watching it all day. So, a couple days ago, there were over 50 listings on TCG Player. Today, we've gone from 37 to 26 listings on TCG. This card, a month and a half, 2 months ago, was a 14-cent card. This card now, you're paying almost $1, including the shipping, which is good if you bundle it with something. But, I mean, if you're just needing 4-mud skippers real quick, I don't know if that's realistically going to work for you. eBay, you're looking at $1 a piece right now. All of that being said, I'm going to read the card effect, and then you guys can decide if you need 4-mud skipper. It's a light Cyberse effect monster, 0 attack and defense, but during your main phase, you can reveal a link monster in your extra deck. And if you do, when you link summon this turn, you can treat this card as link material with the same name, type, and attribute as the revealed monster. If it's sent to the graveyard as link material, you can add a level 5 or higher Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand, and you can only use those effects once per turn. So, 4-mud skipper is really strong. The thing about 4-mud skipper is that we're getting a card in Eternity Code called Parallel Exceed. And what Parallel Exceed is a level 8 Cyberse monster, so it's searchable with 4-mud skipper. And it summons itself, it brings out another copy, and then they both become level 4. Like we've been saying, level 4 or rank 4 Xyz spam, monsters you can make right now are, Dweller, you can make Redoer, you can make Rafflesia. But then you can also make, and I've been saying it over and over, Utopia Double. You can make so many Link 2s and 3s with this, but one of the biggest things that I've been looking at is Traptrix Sarah. Same with, we got the Gravedigger's Trap Hole in. 4-mud copies Sarah, and because of Sarah's requirements, you can still make Sarah with 4-mud. And then if you have a Shade Brigandine, or any extender other than Shade Brigandine, really, if you went first and you already had traps face up, you're going to be able to get into OTK plays almost constantly. And that's just in Traptrix. Like, there are so many decks that can use these cards to other lengths. I'm just saying, if you don't have a play set because you never played Salad, you should pick up your playset right now, because we're running out of copies of this card. And they were like 14 cents, and that's like... That happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! Every week now. A card is worth nothing, and then it's worth $1.
And there are a lot of people who say, oh, it's due to the stimulus check, but people are sitting home. They're buying cards. That's the market. Like, that's your current market. Like, you can't just talk about it being a market bloat, because, well, it's bloated, but it doesn't de-bloat. It stays bloated.
Let's put it this way, right? So we knew Parallel Exceed was coming, and this was inevitable. It was inevitable.
Right.
It's inevitable. It's going to happen all the time. It happens every week now. Whether people got $1,200 checks, there was no way, if Parallel Exceed was an affordable card. I was afraid it was going to be a secret. I've been stacking credit for months because I was like, oh, Gravediggers is going to be a secret, and Parallel Exceed is crazy. That's going to be a secret. I'm going to need to get tons of this set to play this deck.
Yeah.
And it's a common.
Right.
It's a common. So the what, 42 cents you could have spent a month and a half, 2 months ago is going to be $3 now. And that's not a lot. It could go higher. But for anybody who invested now, or a month and a half, 2 months ago, it's not a huge investment, but to turn $30 into over $200 potentially,
right.
That's significant.
On that scale, yeah, no, absolutely. So I also put up Parallel Exceed as well, that we have that image up. Was there anything else you wanted to say about Parallel Exceed and 4-mud skipper?
No, these cards are crazy. I would get your Sign It Minings while you're at it too.
Yep.
Because
Searcher.
it searches for Mud Skipper, it gets you into the Exceed. There's even to the point that like you can get Redoer if you're playing Trap or Sky Strikers, and it banishes itself. Like you don't even have to worry about him. Like there's so many little nuances of what your Exceed can become because there's so many good rank 4s. There's just a lot of value to be had in this card.
It's cool. It really is. It's both these cards and their interactions really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So we've clocked about an hour. Is there anything else we want to say to the folks?
I mean, really, just be smart. I think there's a lot of ways that you can, if you have Yu-Gi-Oh money right now, there's a lot of ways you can utilize it wisely.
Yeah.
I was talking about buying Ghost Mourners. Like, am I gonna buy Ghost Mourners right this minute? No. But
it so sounded like you were like typing in Ghost Mourner.
Yeah.
Add
I
3
was
to
looking
cart.
at it, and there's 15 copies at 40s right now, right? And if there's all of a sudden 8 copies at 40s, then maybe I'll buy them. Because if people are grabbing them up that fast, you kind of have to trust that there's more wise people than dumb people who have money to blow. And that's kind of how I look at it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't believe that somebody who's consistently investing in Yu-Gi-Oh is always making bad decisions. So if something starts to sell out like that, I'm gonna go with the gut feeling that like, all right, I'd rather get this while I can before it goes up. And worst case, what? I don't think that card drops below 25-30. What do I lose? $45? I'm willing to gamble the 45 to save potentially more.
I
but
don't
that's
see it
based on
getting
that.
reprinted until another Duel Devastator like set. You know what I mean? There would need to be
absolutely.
another reason for them to put something like that out. So
Mhm.
I could see it holding. Let's say nobody ever uses it. Let's say it flops. I can still see it holding at 30.
Right, and I
Just
think
as a
that's fair to
junk,
say.
just as a secret based on its relation to its ghost friends.
There's things like it's a zombie.
Right.
You know, like that has longevity in the zombie strategy that just came out. Like there's a lot of reasons that it can definitely be viable. That's something I want to talk about too. I have these ideas about Book of Life right now.
That card's always been good.
How do you feel about the fact that they play Zombie World, make everything a zombie, and you can banish their shit out of the grave?
Oh yeah.
And you can revive one of your monsters that's now a zombie.
Yeah. Well, that was always
very sideable against Eldritch, which is going to be really good right now.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, that's why right now I've swapped up my main deck and I've got the Called by the Graves in the main. And I've got DD Crow in the side, is because I'm genuinely scared shitless of Eldritch. Like, it's just an impressive. Every time it gets played against me, it's done skillfully and it's done methodically, and it picks me apart. I go from having huge card advantage on them to slowly being equal with them, and being equal with them isn't enough anymore. You can't be equal with Eldritch. They will outlast you in the equals game because they turn 1 to 2 to 3 cards from 1 to 2 to 3.
Right. They have a lot of longevity. You're exactly right. It's a control strategy. And you want to be... I was reading an article earlier about how in a world of control and beatdown strategies, you want to be the control player because you have more longevity.
Right.
That's absolutely true. I've always preferred playing control because I want to play... With the new cards, I want to play 2012 or I want to play 2014 Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right.
I don't want to play at today's pace. I want to slow you down so you can't be at today's pace and you can't do what you want to do. And that's, I mean, to be really transparent, I'm playing Mystic Mind Trap Tricks.
Yeah.
Like, we don't play until I want to play.
Right.
Is that right for the game? I didn't print the card.
Your catchphrase. Listen, I didn't print the card.
But at this point, that's the best way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! The way that I can play with longevity, and I can get there. But yeah, I think so. When you played against Eldritch a lot, because my biggest problem I would say is I hate playing online. It's abysmal to me.
Yeah.
I think it's so boring. I hate waiting. Like Grant fucking watches Netflix while he's on Dueling Book.
I
Like, he's
could
not paying
see
attention.
that. I could see that.
So I'm in here trying to play, and my opponents are slow as shit, and I'm just like, this is a nightmare for me. Like, I don't have all day to play one match to pretend that's like one match is playtesting. Like, I don't. So
that's why I like Dueling Nexus, because there's a certain amount of it takes out of it.
Yeah, it's faster paced.
It takes the and it just it's done. It's done. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. It's just it doesn't require me, like, it doesn't let me accidentally. But here's the thing though. It doesn't let me make accidental mistakes, but at the same time, if I make a mistake, it doesn't let me take it back like a human.
Right.
Like,
that's true.
If I send a monster to the grave and be like, oh, that's not what I meant. You know what I mean? Like,
a misclick, it doesn't matter whether it happens. You have no opportunity. You're an ant to me.
ha! There it is.
There it is.
It's just
yeah.
We're just ants to the big machine.
I prefer Dueling Nexus, but I've run into little things that I understand why Dueling Book is the primary platform right now. Like, there's little things, like someone plays Prohibition, and you can be like, all right, what card do you call? And they'll be like, I don't know. And you just, sucks to be you, because you don't know what card they hit with Prohibition.
Right.
And that's
bad. So, poor Evan yesterday on stream, he got screwed out of a Nibiru. It didn't open the window, and it didn't let him. I definitely summoned way more than enough times. It's me.
I noticed that too.
Do you really think that I'm playing around Nibiru? Like, we all know I'm not. So I was just like, and then he's like, what the fuck? I didn't get to summon Nibiru. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Poop, poop, poop.
I had remarked about that when we were playing, that every game you have to click manually chain.
Yeah.
And why? Just make it a setting. Like, either it's clicked or it's unclicked.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, is like, I get to test play on Nexus 5 times more matches than I would on Dueling Book.
Yeah.
I just, like, how do I trade that experience? You know what I mean? Like, how do I, the consistency to be able to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go play a bunch of games, or a really quick game just to fit something in before a lunch or something. You know, Dueling Book, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You're in for the long haul, baby.
We didn't talk about one card. We missed one.
Oh,
it just occurred to me.
I missed one from our slideshow. Sorry, that's my fault.
Don't even trip. It's not a big deal, because everyone knows Orchest Mech Knight Gearsu is, like, absolutely insane. I don't think there's really any reason to say, like, y'all didn't know this card was good. Like, I don't know that its price tag is valid, but it's pretty good. It's pretty crazy.
What is he currently going for?
It is 110.
Really? What does he do?
Let me... Oh, I just had it. I just closed the tab.
Sorry.
It is... No, you're good. Gearsu, the Orchest Mech Knight. If he's normal or special summoned, you send an Orchest or World Legacy card from your deck to your graveyard.
Huh.
That alone would have been enough. But wait, there's more. Then, if there are 2 or more other cards in this card's column, treat this card as a tuner this turn.
What?
But wait, there's more. If you control no other monsters, special summon 1 World Legacy token to both players' fields in defense position. And then you can... Don't worry, you can only use each effect once per turn.
Right.
It's fun.
What else would you do? Double summon and do it again?
Just win.
Like,
If you didn't win at that point, then like after a first one, and you had nowhere to go, I don't think the second one would have. But I don't know. So anyway, yeah, there's not really a lot to say about this card. It's obviously fucking crazy.
he's insane.
This card's crazy. That being said, I wanted to ask you, in your Eldritch testing,
Yes.
would you say you played against more of the variant with Zombie World or more of the variant without Zombie?
Without Zombie World, but he played the Zombie World one against me 1 or 2 times maybe, and it went okay. But I don't remember him drawing into it much.
Okay, yeah,
He played a handful of variants that involved Golden King.
Yep.
I want to call him an Elder God because he's fucking insane.
Well, there is like the other one, the Zombie World structure deck monster, who I'm spacing on his name. That little package I've seen it being splashed in with the Eldritch because you run Unizombie to dump the card that lets you get Zombie World, or you can dump the card that lets you. There's a monster that comes back every turn if you have Zombie World.
Right.
So my thinking was you grab Book of Lives to banish that card and not worry about it.
That's an idea.
They might be too slow. That being said, if you have removal, you get it off the board, and then you Book of Life, and you get your card back for free in addition to a Spell Speed 1 DD Pro. That's an option to me. It's like the kind of thing where I'd rather have Book of Lives than not right now. I don't know that I own them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree though. I don't know. I don't own anything. I own like a little half a shoebox sorter. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I own half one of those full of cards now. Like, I have bulk. But like you could go through my bulk in like 8 minutes.
Yeah. That's
Be
a
like,
little less than I have. But...
Be like, Evan, can I see your bulk? Yeah, it's right here, like right here.
I got a tin.
Right, I could hold it all in a tin. Not one of the new ass tins. The new ass tins are tiny.
Yeah.
Back in my day, they had some girth to them, some chutzpah.
Back in my day, you got promos. The new tin has no promos.
Right, but yeah, you're right.
That's crazy.
It's just a pack. It's just 3 pack or 5 packs.
It's 3 packs, and you get more foils. I think you get an extra secret and an extra ultra.
Okay.
Or you get 2, something like that. Yeah, I think maybe you get an extra on each one.
Just get a handful of pity foils. No promos,
Yeah,
just pity foils.
You don't get the promos. Now the promos are in the set so that you buy more.
Makes sense. That's how they get you. And what a bait and switch with the friggin' tin art. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
Yeah. So that must have just been a mock-up, right?
I don't know.
The other one?
I'm so upset about the art. It's not even funny. Because I actually, like, they actually had me this time. Tablet tin art. Okay, so I've got the save image. Here we go. I've got both images. There we go. So we went from... We went from this... Somehow we went from this on the top to... I know it's going to be a little delayed for you to see it.
Yeah, no, you're good.
And to this on the bottom. Like, I don't get it. It looks identical to the last one, the gold sarcophagus. It has no... Like,
so, was that first one actually confirmed, though? Because I'm wondering if it...
I don't remember what the source was. I think it was from YuGiOh Italy or something.
Yeah.
But we had this first art that came out. Hold on. Yes, that was official, because I'm seeing the 2020, the blurb that goes next to it. The promo blurb. So yeah, that was official. There was an English blurb that went along with it, actually. But it didn't say that was the tin. It just says that that's the Tablet of Lost Memories.
Yeah.
And we kind of extrapolated that was somehow the tin's art. But to be fair, it was kind of assuming.
I will say, my first thought from the industry perspective was, this is the biggest waste of space on a shelf with that weird footprint to how it sits. Like, to build a case like that would have been a huge pain in the balls, and it did not make any sense to me. Just from like a marketing and manufacturing standpoint. So this makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't prefer it.
Well, I figured that what it would be like on the inside was, do you remember the GX tins, how they were more curved?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it would be like. I thought it would just be printed, like not embossed, but just printed on the front. Kind of like the premium collector's tin with the 4 protagonists on it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
That was right when Yuma was first announced.
One with yeah.
And they put Yuma on it with the other 3. I don't mean to undercut the other 3 protagonists. I just wasn't going to say their names. But no, it reminded me more of those, because it's like I'm looking right now, and the GX ones were definitely a little more curved than like the 5Ds or the OG ones. And I thought that maybe, because do you remember how they used to always include plastic tin sorters?
Yeah.
Couldn't you just put a little cardboard piece on the top part to make it square inside for the tablet end? Cut it off, and then you have that whole thing that'll work. But I get why they chose not to. I think it's weird that they would highlight the Monster Reborn, the Battle Ox, the Swords of Revealing Light, and the Mystic Centaur, but they wouldn't go ahead and put the God Cards on there. Hey, are you muted?
I am. I couldn't tell you why.
Because, alright, so I thought maybe it cut out at the beginning, and I was like, wait, where'd you go? But then I didn't know if maybe it was just a quick cutout, so I wasn't going to say anything. But then when I noticed it, I was like, wait, let me catch that.
You know what it was, is I want those microcoders, and I was offering 16 on the sealed pack of promos, and now a guy's trying to tell me that you don't buy things at less than retail price.
Oh. But isn't that the point of life?
Isn't that, I mean, if you're selling off of TCG, aren't you saving yourself the fees and the time, and you're making the same? I don't know. It's just math. It's just math. I don't know.
1 plus 1 is 2. Fast math.
Quick maths.
Quick math. That's what it was. Quick math. Not fast math. But no,
that's a good meme.
It is.
The other thing is, like, what's the most reprintable thing is, like, protagonist cards from a video game. Like, you think this card should be $20 right now?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that card getting reprinted pretty quick, just because they've done that shit in the past as tin promos.
Yeah, well, that's true. We don't have it there anymore, but that is true.
But you know what I mean? Just like, so, you know, the tone down of that version would be, you know, as promos via, or just not promos, just as tin foils. And
Well,
that wouldn't even crash their market value because you still have to pull them randomly. So it's still difficult somewhat to get them. So even if they reprinted it, the OG goes to 15, and then the super, because it'll come out as like a super or something. The super
probably 8 to 10. I think 8 to 10 would be fair.
Yeah, exactly. So you would see a market fluctuate, but you wouldn't see a crash. And so I think, honestly, you might be better off trying to get the games themselves and flip the discs. Because I think people are valuing the pack way higher than you are. Because that's like, I sold my pack for 30. Like, you wouldn't have liked that.
No.
And that was a while ago before that card was like dope. Oh shit.
We have 2 reprint sets coming too. We have, Toon Chaos might be kind of a reprint set with some new cards. And then, what's the, Dragons of Legend. Like, we have 2 reprint sets coming. I can't validate $20 on a highly reprintable card, but I can validate 16, and I don't know. If the $4 is that much to you, I will find someone else who will. That I would say, and you and I experienced this the other day, where the guy wanted what, 185, and I told him 160, and he was like, "Give me an hour," and he took it because he knows at the end of the day he made his money either way.
Right. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes, and it's like, I'll take a good offer if it's a good offer. You know what I mean? If the effort's if the effort's just not, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not worth it sometimes, and you do the best you can with the prices you get, and I think sometimes people get caught up in the winning aspect though, with bids and offers. They think it's too much competition. They get too much ego in it instead of numbers. Numbers people, they look at it. It's like, so here's an example of numbers versus ego that I misread. So I went and I placed an offer on an $80 Ulti Stratos, and I placed an offer for $55, and he didn't bite for that, and he gave me an offer, right, that was just like $3 cheaper, and then I didn't take it, obviously, and don't worry, it sold for full price. It was just like, I was just like, oh, so I'm the shithead here. Cool.
I don't think that makes you the shithead. I think the fact of the matter is that, I mean, there's somebody out there who was willing to pay that, but it's not unreasonable for you to think that there aren't that many people dumping $80 on Stratos. Like, it just got an Ultra reprint. It's not even that it's being reprinted multiple times as common. Like, I'm okay with Ultra. I don't need to drop $80 on Ultra.
That's his original rarity.
Yeah.
That's his jump promo rarity. Do you remember how expensive those used to be?
Yeah, I played Hero Beat at YCS Long Beach. I regret back in the day not playing that deck more because it was super fun.
Yeah, those were fun times.
Classic meme. All right. I think we covered pretty much everything coming out of Eternity Code. I don't really have a lot to say about Eldritch because I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah, I don't
really know more than I do.
It's good, and it'll fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm. But does it lose to Mystic Mine?
But so here's the thing. There are cards, trap cards, that can remove the Golden King off the board. And then what do you do?
So this is what I was thinking. Is it actually might be a Mystic Mine deck. Because from what I was gathering from them, it seemed that way.
Yeah.
Are people doing it? I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been able to get into playtest because I haven't had the time or the patience. I think it could be a Mystic Mine deck.
I think I've seen people citing it. But I don't...
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good card.
It's a great card. I mean, if I could find a way to utilize it in Heroes consistently, I probably would try to do so. But Heroes have become too combo oriented and are not control based.
Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive to play it in a deck that like kind of swarms. But it's weird in that if your deck did swarm but then went into one monster in the way that Access Code Talker kind of wants you to,
Right.
that could open up the opportunity for you to do it.
That'd be very cool. I'm gonna have
Which is
to.
interesting.
Unfortunately, too many of my cards tell me, and then you can only summon heroes for the rest of the turn. So I can't I can't end my board being like, and here's my ace monster who survives things by himself without support. Like, for my team, it's like, here's a guy who can like punish you for destroying him, and here's a guy who beefs him up in attack mode, and here's a spell card that turns the guy who wipes your field, and then he'll wipe your spells and traps. You know what I mean? Like, and there's too many combos.
Yeah, that's exactly the benefit that Trap Tricks does get from Mystic Mine, is that there are so many stipulations and it's so slow that they're good effects for like 2014.
Yeah.
But they're not good effects for 2020, except Sarah. Sarah's like, I'm a free +2 every turn.
Yeah,
so
really
if you
is.
get into me, you're lit. And you do. You just play the card and you're like, all right, we play when I say we play. So, pass turn.
I watched 2014 North American World Championship qualifiers. I watched the deck list for the second place, right? And he was playing Hat. And he was like, I hate this deck, but it's good. And here's why. Yeah. Your opponent doesn't play YuGiOh. And he's just like...
That's how it feels.
He's like, I run 18 traps. My opponent doesn't play YuGiOh. You just set 4 traps, and you set your friggin' hand, and you're just like, your opponent doesn't play YuGiOh.
Yep. And that's you've tested with me, and I remarked to you earlier
not YuGiOh.
that you mine them, and I've said this at tournaments, and it's not nice, but I'm trying to save you time. I'll say, how many cards do you run? And they'll be like, oh, 40, 43. And I'll be like, all right, I'm running 54. I run 3 Solemn Judgment. I run 2 Jar of Avarice. Can you outlist game 1? And if they can't, they just start picking up their cards and go to game 2 every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's
dumb.
It's dumb. At one point, I needed to see it played out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I really have no outs. Like, you really need to side something. Like, there's nothing. Like,
and there's like Shadal Invoked. They don't have a main deck out. They just start tributing their own monsters and hoping to draw into something, or they hope like you make a mistake, as if you've been playing hours and hours and hours of Mystic Mine Trap Tricks and you're gonna forget your 1 win condition. No, I run Cauldron too because I'm scum. But
I had that played against me in a weird stall burn deck the other day, and I did not appreciate it.
It's not a nice card.
Because it's definitely Poison of the Old Man, but just spitting in my face every turn.
That's an interesting... Do you think that... So the argument is that mine is healthy for the game, and I would say... The argument is that they help older decks that can't really achieve what the newer decks can achieve. Do you think that we need those old decks to have support like that? Or do you think we'd be better off? Because if they banned Utopia Double today, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be heartbroken that bad.
So here's the thing. I'm even playing Utopia Double in Harpies, because I can just spit rank 4 like a friggin' son of a bitch. Do I think it's healthy for us to have... I don't... So here's the thing. While I don't like Mystic Mine, I think it is up to the players who don't play it to learn how to beat it. Because
I agree.
I can't rely on a ban list. I don't rely on ban lists to learn how to play the game. If I decide that I'm going to cry foul, then I should just scoop to every game that runs Mystic Mine, I guess. Because that's just...
I agree.
Well, what's the point? Like, learn. So, like, for me, it's like, okay, no. I gotta get my Twin Twisters in. I gotta get my Solemn Judgments in. And that's gonna be worth paying half my life points for. Like... Yeah. Like, if I want to play YuGiOh, I'm going to pay half my fucking life points. Like, okay, so be it. But, like, we're going to side these cards in, and we're going to do the fucking best we can. Like, the YuGiOh survived this before. It's not like... it's not like everyone's doing it and everyone needs it and it's the only win. We've had win condition decks before. We've had all sorts of decks before. And for some reason, they don't seem to end up always dominating the first place. Right now, there's a ton of variation between Eldlish, Adamancipators, and everything else. I think that with enough trial and error, people will generate something really... People will generate something that generally has either an out to their problem, because there's tons of decks that aren't playing Mystic Mine, dealing with Mystic Mine. And half of it is back row hate. It's either Cosmic, Galaxy, Cyclone, classic MST, Twin Twisters, whatever you need to do to get that thing off the board. I had somebody friggin' Field Barrier that stupid mine. They were like, literally, I shit you not, Mystic Mine, set 3, Field Barrier. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, the Mine Burn deck will do that. But if you Cosmic Cyclone their mine, then they can't activate another mine because of the Field Barrier.
Right.
So, there are ways around it. I do think the card is overpowered. I do not think the card should exist. This is my opinion as a person who plays the card.
Sure.
My thinking is that I think it's healthy in decks like Altergeists, like Strikers, where their win condition is still the typical, like, you know, play the game win condition. My issue is the burn decks, where you can't play around it by controlling the amount of monsters on the board because your opponent isn't going to have any.
Right.
And that's kind of the same for Trap Tricks, is I'm not playing monsters until I know that double's going off. To the point that I'm running 3 Compulse, because I think it's a really strong turn 1 play to mine and summon, first you'd summon Myrmelio, grab a Floodgate or now Gravediggers, play the mine, and set the Compulse. And once you summon a monster, I'm compulsing the Trap Tricks back to my hand.
Yeah, no, that's really true.
It comes up.
We got to do this more regularly, though, because this is fun, and this gets us we got tons of people joining us and tons of people enjoying it, so I really think that we should, try to find a way to do this a little more regularly with Market Watch or just discussions. It's fun.
Hell yeah, man. In addition, I'm sure there's people who would like to get in on it. Like, we could have had Evan. It would have been fun to have, another set of eyes and ears.
For sure, yeah. No, I think I had mentioned it to him, but I don't know if he had something today or if he's free, or he was free earlier, so maybe I just forgot to add him in.
A classic meme.
Sounds like a
me. Yeah, this was fun.
Sounds like a me thing to do. But you know what? This is not going to be the last time whatsoever, so I'm going to try to run these when I'm not running Duel, because I want to change up the content, because Dueling Nexus, I'm sure, is getting very stale by now.
Yeah. I mean, I would say... I don't know. I enjoy watching hero gameplay because I want to know how to beat them better. But, maybe play a control deck. Maybe play Salad.
I gotta...
maybe. You know what we should do? Together. You know what would be fun? Oh, sorry. You cut out.
You go ahead.
Why don't I send you my Trap Tricks list and we can show everybody why it's so stupid and we can play it together?
That sounds fun.
That would be a fun thing to do, I think. So then it's like, I can better explain why. It's not like coaching, it's like, here's why we do this in the way that, like, we're all understanding.
Yeah, I like it.
I think that would be fun.
Sounds a lot of fun. Yeah, let's do that. All right, man. So are you outski?
Yeah. What is it, 5:30? I have a stream at 7. I don't know what I'm playing yet, but I'm going to play video games.
All right. Yeah. No tournament?
I don't think so. It's hard. I think I should have... Okay, so I'm trying to do it through this platform called Shot Call, and I have personal connections with some of the people at Shot Call. I'm trying to help build this platform up, and it also helps me make content, and that's what I really want, is to make content, especially Yu-Gi-Oh content. That being said, sometimes it's hard to get stream stuff going with short notice. Like, it's hard to say, I'm doing this tonight, be there, because people don't show up.
Yeah.
I think if we announce I only got like a couple people interested today, but if we announce it and say, hey, it's next week, we might get more people.
I would definitely
That's
try to
probably what I'll end up
plan
doing.
it out maybe a couple weeks ahead. Yu-Gi-Oh players need too much time to plan things. And it's not like they're going anywhere.
I agree. My thinking was, yeah, nobody has anything to do. They'll want to maybe win, but not today. I think there's something to be said too for the fact that like it's hard to invest your $5 when the format's only like partially defined at best because there's no events.
Yeah. It is tricky. But I threw together a dueling book deck and then I went into solo mode and I was like, so how do you do this and how do you do like what, you know what I mean? Like I played around with the cards a little bit just to be like, okay, so this is how this is like, okay, so now like when you special summon it doesn't auto plays, it tells you where to do it. Like it's cool. It is nice to see that it's changed and it's upgraded a little bit though. It's cool. I'm not opposed to using it, but I'm all dueling Nexus. Like it's just I'm lazy.
It just plays faster. That's the fact of the matter.
I just want to get more games in. I want to enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh as fast as possible.
Yeah. All right, man.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Night.
Yeah, this was great.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Have a great night.
Yeah, we'll do this again.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Peace. Here we go. Just tweaking a couple things for the stream. Oh, good. All right. That was a ton of fun, guys. For anyone who has any ideas or thoughts for future videos, please comment, let us know. As always, you can follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube. We also have Twitter and Facebook as well. I think I got them all. Yeah. But it's going to be, it's randomizing, so anyways. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Here's a quick ad to help support our venture and be able to continue making great content for you. Please check out our stickers, only $3. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep Duel in America. Hi all, Evan here from Epic Duel Time. Epic Duel Time's return is one of the most exciting happenings of the new decade, and we'd love for you to share in the fun with us. Now on Etsy and eBay, we have an official Epic Duel Time sticker available for only $3. This decal is a high-quality vinyl that's weather and waterproof. Put it on your deck box, trade binder, or water bottle, and you're part of the EDT crew now too. Click the link in the description to purchase today. Keep dueling, America.